All right, we're back. Dr. Kraft, Dr. Ohm, Jeff Binek, we're here at Friendship CrossFit. Our last installment of kind of open tips and tricks. Today we're going to talk about a movement that's been in every single open so far, burpees. Everybody's favorite, but not just burpees, but burpees over stuff too.
So burpees are going to be one of those things where, we've had to touch stuff, we've had to jump over stuff, and, don't be surprised this year if they maybe throw in like a burpee pull-up, something along those lines. But what we're going to talk about a little bit at first is how do we get down to the ground? And one of the big things that we see out of people, especially when we start to get tired, is this like elongated snake and negative push-up. And number one with this, guys, it's slow, right? We don't like slow stuff. Slow is stupid, okay? So we want to take that out more than anything. Secondly, that negative push-up is just grinding you, okay? And I'll let Dr. Kraft, I'm sure that there's probably some stuff in there that's not going to be good for your low back, hip flexors, and everything else also, right? So that's the biggest thing. Instead, what we want to do is we don't think about it as like a snap to the ground. So I always kind of think about it as like my chest has a place on it, and I want that to almost be the first thing that hits the ground, right? So he snaps, it's snap down and snap up, right? So it's a nice tight board, and then he snaps a little bit of press, and then he pops those feet up nice and tall. So that's one of the biggest things.
I like what we kind of touched on earlier, how Dr. Ohm's almost using his knees to drive into the ground to create that kind of snap. Yep. So he's not just kind of popping up and trying to push with his toes, but he's creating all that leverage from his knees as he's snapping up to the top.
Yeah, and that sets him up in a great position, de-weights that lower body just a little bit. As we're doing this, if we're going to be jumping over something, the big thing is we're always going to have to be facing it, right? We've never had to do lateral burpees. I don't think you'll ever see that in the open just because there's too many kind of different ways that you can cheat it. But for this, imagine we're doing that T structure, right? So we have to be facing the box each time. What we want to think about with this, guys, is quarter turn, quarter turn, quarter turn, quarter turn. So 4 quarter turns here. So the first one's going to happen when he comes up and lands. The second one is when he gets onto the box. The third one is going to be when he lands off the box, and then the last one is as he jumps back into his burpee, okay? So that was perfect. Now, when we're doing this, if we're doing it at a fast pace, you're going to start to get a little dizzy. So he's going to rotate the opposite direction this way. Quarter turn, right? So this way now he's rotating to his left, and then he jumps back, okay? So first time he's rotating to his right, second time he's rotating to his left. That way we're not getting into that, we're doing just big circles. And this is super common for people, and you don't realize it until you're like 3 rounds in, and all of a sudden you get like real dizzy, you're coming out of it, and you're trying to do something barbell oriented when you're dizzy. Not super fun, okay? Last thing we'll talk about, guys, on that quarter turn, so just jump up onto the box for me here. Yeah, you can skip the burpee right here. An alternative option, if we're feeling like we're getting really high heart rate here, is just to step down with this lead leg and still do the quarter rotation. Okay, so go ahead, pop back, do a burpee, and then come up, and then we'll do that. Jump up, and then step down. Oops. Reach. Yep, good. Yeah, exactly. And so, again, jump, and step, right? So a little bit more casual there. Okay, a little bit slower pace. Gives them, again, we're always looking for opportunities to breathe when we start to get smoked, which, obviously, on burpees, you will get smoked, okay? What I recommend on this, and right now he's on a 16-inch box, okay, because he's a little guy, all right? We don't want to overstress him too much here. But as you guys are practicing this, practice on 12 inches, 16 inches. Get yourself as low of a box as you can and practice, right? I'm a big fan of EMOM. So EMOM for 10 minutes, do 5. Just practice that rotation structure. Breathe, right? If I ask you right when you're done, where did you breathe during that movement, and you can't tell me, then you weren't thinking about it, right? So pick where we're going to be breathing during it. I like at the top of the box, okay, or during that step down, and then just practice that and do that for a couple times. As you start to feel comfortable at 16 inches, we go up to 20. As you're comfortable at 20, you can go up to 24, and then really start to challenge yourself from there.
Yeah, I like the idea. Yeah, plan your breathing, so little moments to recover during the workout. This is an unloaded movement, so we're not as concerned about the significant bracing and everything that we were with the barbell. But if you are somebody that has had low back issues, right at that point of the burpee is a lot of lumbar flexion. And if you have an angry back, you're going to feel it in that point. So if you're somebody that does get typically gets back pain or tightness with burpees, we just want to make sure that you warm up really well for this workout. And if it's something that persists for a couple of weeks, it's something you might want to get checked out.
Yeah, do you guys think that there's anything with hip flex or quad, so like they love to do this with something like squatting, right? Or have a lot of pressure. So last year was front squats and then a max squat clean, right? Bunch of injuries happening to people in their knees and legs during the max squat clean, right? So I think that's something where the burpee,
the core more than people think.
yeah, it does. That burpee hits the hip flexor real hard, right? And I know that as those start to get fatigued and break down, that's when lower back's going to be higher pressure.
Last year, that was a perfect storm of fatigue the core, and then something where you need it's a max effort lift afterwards, and it's kind of a recipe for doing some tissue damage.
Yeah, and so just that little bit, like even that little knee brace, making sure that you're staying in a good position, we're not overextending, overflexing.
Yes,
fine. Cool.
Right on.
All right, thank you.